Hello students, how have you been? I hope you are doing well. That's great. Our lesson topic for today, that is Unit 7 Charity, Lesson 19. This is English for grade 8. The topic is grammar, simple past and past continuous tense. Before I begin today's lesson topic, I would like to revise you what we learned last time. You remember, students, in the previous time we were talking about how to learn or how to use vocabularies in different contexts. You remember those vocabularies that we said last time, last lesson? Good. Let me remind you those vocabularies. Charity, very good. Generous, yeah, fundraising, harmless, helpless, volunteer. Good. These were very important vocabularies about charity. I was trying to give you some sentences how you are going to use them in different contexts. I hope that I told you to do with your friends and to do these sentences and share your sentence to your friends too. So, while you are talking about charity, don't forget that you should think these vocabularies that we have studied so far in the previous unit of the lesson. Today, as I have informed you that is a part of Unit 7. Good. Unit 7. This is lesson 19 as grammar. Grammar. What kind of grammar are you going to see today? Of course, we are going to see simple past tense, and past continuous tense. Past continuous. Yeah, let's going to see the main objectives of this lesson is that you are able to use simple past and past continuous tense in different contexts. If you want to talk about the past action, if you want to talk about in both past continuous tense also a past action, but they both used in different contexts. This is a very important issue that we are going to see for today. Before that, let's go and see what the difference between simple past tense and past continuous tense. Yeah, before I'm going to tell you in general, let's go and see what simple past tense mean. Let's go and see simple past tense. Simple past or past simple. Good students. Yeah, don't forget that if you want to talk about the action which is in the past, you have to use simple past tense or past simple, in other words. While you are reading simple past and the past tense, just simply think about what you did last time. What happened last time? What he did, what you did, and what happened in the previous time. What did somebody do? What happened in the previous issue or topic or earlier, what we learned in the previous time. If someone asked you what you are talking about in the previous lesson in your classroom by your teacher, you are going to talk about what? Simple past tense. That's why it's a lesson that is already past. So both simple past and past continuous tense both are talking about the past action. But we don't mean that they are both the same. There is a little bit difference between the two tenses while we are using them in different structure. Don't forget this one. But they are both talking about past action. Period. Past action. Now let's go and see some of the common and familiar time adverbs in order to use what? Simple past tense. While you are using simple past tense too, don't forget that those regular and irregular verbs, don't forget the lesson that we learned last time. Regular and irregular verbs are very important. I mean that they are both used in the case of what? Simple past tense and also past continuous tense too. Good. Let's go and make you familiar with some of what? The time adverbs. And then I would like to show you some sample examples. Good. Let's go. Yesterday. Yesterday. The common time adverbs. Last week. Let's go. A few days ago. A few days ago. Earlier. Earlier. But we'll make it this word in different contexts. And also the other one that is in 2024. These are all the past actions. Yesterday means it's obvious that we are talking about the previous time. Last week means it is similar with what? Last month, last year, last time, last period, etc. You see? A few days ago, 2 days ago, possible, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, 5 days ago, okay, a month ago, etc. Possible. Earlier, yeah, when something that is behind, it's still now it's passes, but I'll show you with sample examples with it. In 2024, it's already past year, 2024, by Gregorian calendar, right? So let's go and use these adverbs. Time adverbs are very important. Yeah. So that is why, while you are using simple past tense in your day-to-day life, don't forget that to tell the adverbs of time. I'm going to show you there now, all right? Okay, good. Ariam went to stadium to watch the game yesterday. Ariam went to stadium to watch the game yesterday. Here now the past action is here you have. What kind of verb is it? It's obvious that it is an irregular verb. Ariam went to stadium to watch the game yesterday. Yesterday is a time adverb which tells us what Ariam did. Yeah, yesterday. Therefore, went and yesterday are very important words. Went stands for referring to a verb, the action that is performed by whom? By Ariam, whereas yesterday also tells us about the time when it was happened. Good. Let's go and see. Jonathan visited his aunt last week. You see? Visited. Again, it is regular verb. Jonathan visited his aunt last week. Jonathan visited his aunt last month, last year, etc. Good. The other thing is that, right, a few days ago. Good. They washed their blanket a few days ago. They washed their blanket a few days ago. Washed. A few days ago. You know, blanket. It is common everywhere. Yeah. We can wash our blanket day to day, right? That's why it is too heavy. So a few days ago, it's maybe 3 days ago or 2 days ago, 5 days ago, etc. Therefore, these time adverbs are common here now. The ed form, that is past tense, is already stated there. Good. The other one is our teacher left the class early. Yeah. See now, our teacher left the class early. Early now it stands as a time adverb here now. So left is an irregular verb. Early is here now. It's stated as it is. So our teacher left the class early. Yeah. If somebody asked you, or the school principal, or the director asked you who the teacher in your class, you inform to your teacher that, oh, he left the class early. He left the class early. It's already past. That's why, because the action is already past. The teacher is not there, right? That's why your principal or school director came to your class and asked this question. Very nice. The other one that is, let's go. Good. AU, right, was born on December 5, 2024. Here now was. Therefore, AU was born on December 5, 2024. It's already past action. This is another issue. Look now, when it comes to these sentences, you see, past is a very important part of the language structure in order to talk about different issues. When it comes to the first one, you see, went is talking about what somebody did in the previous time, the action was going on in the previous time. Jonathan visited his is another action, of course, but still now it's an action. What that is took part by Jonathan. And washed is also is another verb. It's okay, these verbs are different in meaning, whereas we are able to use the verbs in different tenses in such a way. Good. Now, next to this, let's go and do some of the activities. Good. Try to use these verbs in the appropriate place of the given spaces. Good. Change. Activity, right? This is activity. Change. The verbs in brackets into past simple and complete the sentence. Good. Number one. A new jacket. Yesterday. Yeah. Let's go. Then Nash. Yeah. The breakfast for her children. This morning. Good. Let's go. Ali. A letter to his father last week. The director get our classroom an hour ago. An hour ago. Okay. Last week. An hour ago. All right. I'm going to write the fifth one that is good. Whether the Nash talk to my mother early. Let's go and complete these 5 sentences. And let me give you that 2 minutes, please. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, you have to practice the example that I gave you earlier about simple persons, and then it's obvious that yesterday, here it is. Time adverbs are here now, the underlined. What is our time adverbs? An hour ago, and that is earlier. Therefore, the instruction says that you have to change these verbs or words into what? Into simple past tense. Chala, what that? Good, that's interesting. Boat. Boat. Have you written like this? Yeah. Chala bought a new jacket yesterday. Zinash cooked. Cooked. Yeah, that's 80. Ali wrote. Wrote. Very good. The director visited. Visited. Good. Whether Zinash talked to. Talked to my mother early. If you are doing your job like this, I'm sure that you are good at simple past tense. Next to this, let's go and see about past continuous tense. Good. Past continuous tense. Past continuous tense. Tense. What in about past continuous tense? Yeah, I will tell you that we have to know the rule, right? The forms, the structure. How do we use past continuous tense? Sure that you practiced, you learned it in grade 7. You have been doing it in grade 6 and grade 5 too. But let's go and see what looks like past continuous tense and its form. Very nice. I'm sure that you are good at this form. Are you familiar about this? Was or were. Very important. Don't forget, was and were must be there. Plus what? Plus that is verb, yeah, in the form of verb 1, plus that is ing. If you are doing or making, yeah, some verbs based on the structure, you are quite correct. This is past continuous tense. Shall I give you some verbs that are common? Good. I would like to give you some common verbs. Yeah? Let's go. Play, right? Play. Was or were, and then playing. Here is the meaning of the word what verb 1 means, that is play, is that is a verb 1. Right? This is ing must. Was or were playing. Again, was or were writing. If you are doing, your form is like this, you are correct. It's not only that. Was or were running. Okay, it's not only that. Was, were, doing. Here mean that run is here, it is a verb 1, do is that's a verb 1. That is the addition of what? Ing. Was doing, were doing. Was is goes with what? With singular forms, right? Yeah, I was. She was. He was. It was. Were, it's coming for what? We were, you were, and that is they were. Therefore, I'm going to add one more verb, that is was, were, and then what that? Cooking. Cooking. Let's go. These are the formation or the form that is shown on the slide, that is past continuous tense, was or were plus verb in the form of ing. Now let's go and do what is the function of past continuous tense. Good. So past continuous tense do have a lot of function. And before that, I'm happy to give you some sample sentences about this, I think. Yeah, that's good. Look now. I was, you see, playing football. Simple sentence. I was playing football. Again, we were writing a note. Past continuous tense. We were writing a note. They were running to catch a bus. She was doing her homework. He was cooking a supper. You are welcome to make sentences like this. These are all standard for referring to past continuous tense. Now let's go and see the function of past continuous tense. Right? I want to make you familiar with some of the past continuous tense forms. What's the function of past continuous tense? Good. Past continuous tense. Yeah, there are some adverbs that we have been using in the case of simple past tense. The function of past continuous tense is that is ongoing action. Ongoing action. Ongoing actions. This is the first one, ongoing actions. And the other one that is interrupted actions. Interrupted actions. What do you mean by that? Interrupted actions. The other one that is simultaneous. Simultaneous actions. These are three functions of past continuous tense. Look, how do you use past continuous tense? Now let me start from the first one. Ongoing actions means, what do I mean by that, ongoing actions? I would like to show you one sample example here now. Right? You are welcome to say that, right? I was reading a book while my brother was watching movies. Look now, I was reading a book while my brother was watching movies. This is ongoing actions. Ongoing action is usually take part by two different subjects. There are two different subjects. The first one that is I, and the other one that is your brother. So you are doing what? Different actions. Your brother was watching movies, whereas you were reading a book. So such kind of statement, still now it stands for past continuous tense, but the actions are ongoing, of course. While you are reading, he also watching movies without no interruption. No one is interrupting you. Yeah. At the same time, the action is not simultaneously the same. That's why, because your action is different. In such a way, while is very important. Come on again, let's go. There is something you have to bear in mind about this word. This while is very important in order to use past continuous tense. When? If you want to talk about ongoing actions. Ongoing actions. Let's go and see the simultaneous actions. I will come to the previous one next to this. Simultaneous action means, you see, we were chatting. While waiting for a bus. Yeah, it should be like this. Yeah, we were chatting while waiting for a bus. That means the subject of the theme. There are two. Friend is, the action is what? Different action. Okay? Of course, it's different action. It is performed by two ways, right? One is they are chatting at the same time. They are also waiting for a bus. So in such a case, still now it's possible. Here, right, we were chatting while we were waiting for a bus. And instead of repeating chatting and we were phrase, better to put in such a way is also possible. Both are acceptable, doesn't matter, right? If you are doing, we were chatting while we were waiting for a bus, the same. We were chatting while waiting for a bus, they are both the same meaning. Doesn't bring any change. Come on, students, doesn't bring any change. Especially when you are talking or interacting with somebody else, if you are doing such kind of structure, it's possible still now, right? Let me give you that. This is interrupted actions. Interrupted action, what do you mean by that, interrupted action? Good. I was, jogging at the field. You see? When a dog played at the ground. This is totally interrupted action. It's all right, it's okay. I was jogging at the field when a dog played at the ground. So that means, you see here it is past continuous tense, and that is when also, here is welcome to you, that is simple past tense. So when, well. Therefore, you have to understand here now, jogging means a kind of activity, yeah? It's a kind of activity in order to what? In order to make your body free or relax. It's like running, but not real running, but simply activity that usually, or maybe your dad, right, one of the aged people, right, just entertains themselves simply. It's a kind of just walk, it's all right, but a speedy one. This is what I mean that. Then, watch, while, and when are very important words in order to make what? Past continuous tense. Good. So you have to be familiar about this. Therefore, ongoing actions, interrupted actions, simultaneous actions has to be emphasized here. Next to this, let me give you the activity. Good. Use the words in brackets in past continuous tense form and complete the gaps. Good. Number 1, blank. Okay, it's possible to write. Somebody knocked at the door. Knocked at the door. Yeah, you're welcome. Good. Here now, number 2. Good. Okay. Well, wrong. Good. Good. I'm going to read the sentences. Number 4. Good. Okay. Right. All right. Good. Let's go and complete these 5 sentences. Blank write to my brothers. Somebody knocked at the door. So the verb is already written here now, and then you are going to change or into what past continuous tense form. Okay, what will be the form? Let me give you that some 3 minutes. Good. So I hope that, let me give you one sample example for the first one, and then you finish the rest of the others, right? Yeah, so what will be here now? While I was writing, good, there are a lot of options are possible now. While I was writing to my brother, or while I'm writing to my brother, we make a copy of the note of your brother, is maybe, right? Not necessarily to mention that the letter, something like that. So while I was writing to my brother, well, okay, well, we were writing to our brother, etc. But more of it is appropriate to say that while I was writing to my brother, somebody knocked at the door. And then writing is a noun, it's 84, here it is. The other one is they were watching the movie, or they were watching the movie when the bell rang. Here now, when has to be written here now. When, see, when the bell rang should be here. They were watching the movie when the bell rang, possible. Here is past continuous tense. The other one is that is simple past tense, past continuous tense. That is when is common in all cases. Therefore, 3, 4, and 5, I'm sure that you did at home. That's really, and try to practice about these things and in the next time, and then come to with different contexts. That's all we have for today, students. Until we meet next time, that's all. Goodbye. See you.